Hi, LinkedIn followers. It's another video with Annie. And today I want to talk to you about preparing for a trade show. Success starts with preparation. That is my motto. And there is a lot of preparation that comes with trade shows as well as live events. You can start with things like purchasing your booth space, managing your travel arrangements, getting your team apparel and your promotional items ready, even creating your booth design. So many different things. But before you start making your checklist of all those to-dos, I want to make sure that you understand that you really need to establish your trade show program objectives first. And more importantly, once you've established them, you need to make sure you've communicated them to all the right people. Trade shows and live events are a significant investment within your budget for your marketing as well as your budget for your organization. So you really want to be clear on what you're trying to achieve, both overall with your trade show and event program, as well as for each individual show and event. So besides the obvious objective of generating more leads, which is pretty much what everyone wants to do at a trade show, I want to share with you a couple additional things that you should think of. First, in terms of generating leads, make sure that you understand what a lead is. Make sure you understand how you're going to qualify those leads, how you're going to score them, how you're going to capture them, and what you're going to do next. Another great thing to do within a trade show or live event is use that, because you have a captive audience, to reach out and gain customer or user feedback and insights. So think through, how are you going to do that? Are you new to the market? Are you new to an industry? What do you want to learn from that market and industry while you're there? Not just what are you going to share with them, but using that opportunity to understand what happens within that market and industry, because there are lots of subject matter experts, lots of other exhibitors that are going to be there. Another great thing is understanding your competitive landscape and understanding, doing a competitive analysis. There are many other people that are going to be exhibiting there, and many people who are going to be walking a show floor or attending conferences and events that are in your same space. So what can you learn about them? What can you see when you look at their booth or exhibit or talk to any of their subject matter experts? And then also think through how you really want to launch a product or a new service, if that is what you're going to do. So not just being in a new market or industry, but if you're bringing something new to that market or industry. So once you know your objectives, what you want to try to achieve within each event and show and overall program, you want to make sure that you are planning accordingly. So back to what I was saying before. When you're starting to build out the design of your booth, keep in mind what you're trying to achieve so that your booth design reflects how you're going to engage with different people who visit your booth, how you're going to get the feedback that you're looking for, how you're going to even navigate people through or show them those new products. So additionally, what are you going to display? How are you going to display it? How are you going to demonstrate it? And how are people going to interact with that? Making sure that you are training your staff to have the engaging conversations that will obtain the information you need to create qualified leads that are actionable. That might not seem like a hard thing, especially if you're putting salespeople on the staff floor, but if you're not asking them to dig a little deeper in conversation and actively listen to what their visitors are telling you, you might not get more than this person was interested in X, when the reality is they might be telling you what their actual needs are and even more about the business, so that you have a better starting point, a warmer lead when you come back from a given show or event. Think through how you're going to capture customer insights and feedback. If you have a person just asking questions one-on-one, how is that person going to continue to gather all of that intel and use it? Should you be using technology? Is there an app? Should you be using a video to capture things? Having people give feedback via live video. What can you use to help you gather that? Or is there a self-serve survey portal so that you can be getting that information and sifting through it post-show? Because I can tell you, while standing on a show floor or being at an event, gathering all of that while keeping everything else in your head and thinking through the next day, a lot of that information is going to fall out. And even if you try to capture it in notes at the end of the day, you might have missed some really important things. So finally, once you have all of that in place, what you must do, part of that success is communicating these objectives. And there are multiple people you need to communicate them to, and there are multiple ways you can do that. Make sure you're communicating that to your partners, whether that is a distribution channel of representatives that sell your product, whether those are other partners that you use, like vendors, third-party vendors. Make sure that they understand what you're trying to achieve and what their role is and how that you can support them and how they support you. Make sure you're communicating to support departments, whether that is logistics, making sure that your booth gets to where it needs to be, or whether that's sales, making sure that they understand what their role is. Make sure you're talking to your leadership team, helping them understand what they're going to be able to see and expect from that investment and what ROI is going to look like. And lastly, and most importantly, make sure you're communicating all of this to your show staff. There's a lot they need to know, but if they don't understand the overall objective of what they're trying to achieve and help the organization achieve at every given show, and for the overall shows, whether it's a 10 by 10 regional all the way up to a 2,000 square foot multi-tier booth, they're not going to be able to get you the best results and the most success. So consider reaching out to them in person, whether that's company meetings and trainings, whether that's through a video like this, super simple. You can even use a program like Loom, where you share slides and you talk during those slides and people see a picture of your face actually talking, so you humanize it. It could be doing a webinar if you're not comfortable on video. And lastly, it could be a follow-up email. But save that email for the last, because everyone is inundated with that. So if you need support planning, I'm here for you. Contact me, or feel free to look for additional resources through places like the American Marketing Association or Sales Stratus. Have a great day and good luck with your shows.